Svensk hyllningsfest is homecoming in Lindsborg, an opportunity to reunite, but also to make new contacts and to develop new relations. During the last Swedish festival of the 20th century, Åke Larsson, who is president of the Geijerskollen in Ransäter, Sweden, visited Lindsborg to establish an exchange program with Bethany College that will enhance education and cultural context for the future between Lindsborg, Kansas, and Munkfors, Sweden.
The main reason for me being here in Lindsborg this week is to have discussions concerning how to establish a student exchange program between Bethany College in Lindsborg and Geijerskollen in Ransäter, Sweden. And so far these discussions have been very positive, and I've met a lot of understanding and people who like the idea and want to develop it. There are some programs on Bethany College which are quite similar to what we are doing at Geijerskollen. One example is the music programs. But we hope to be able to establish contacts even with other programs and other subjects, based perhaps on humanities.
We at Bethany are interested in the program because of some of the obvious connections. We have a Swedish heritage, and we have a strong school in music and religion. But I'm very interested in our students living in another country and learning about that culture. And I understand that Sweden faces many of the same cultural challenges as the United States. Social medicine, immigration of different peoples to our culture. How do we continue to be a democracy and have many people voting and taking part in government? So we struggle with those problems here in the United States. I think it would be great for our students to learn Swedish, live in Sweden for a year, and learn how Swedes confront those issues, and then bring back new ideas to make the United States a richer environment.
Bethany College was, of course, founded by Swedish immigrants, and it has preserved its Swedish heritage. It is an important institution in Lindsborg, adding quality to life on the prairie. The college has almost 1,000 students and many alumni around the U.S.
We have Swedish language instruction and sort of a general course, I guess you would say, on Swedish culture. So we would have to strengthen that. My thought would be that our students would study 2 semesters, 2 terms of Swedish language here, spend the summer in Sweden to improve their Swedish language skills, and maybe living with families, and then take courses at the Geijerskollen. So it'd be a 2-year commitment for our students.
The parade is one of the highlights during Svensk hyllningsfest. Even though the parade is more of an American tradition than a Swedish one, it is a major attraction, and strong efforts are made to create a winning float.
The hyllningsfest, I believe, brings the community together to work very, very hard in the preservation of this, our Swedish-American traditions. And what is so nice about our hyllningsfest is the fact that thousands of man-hours, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of citizens work on it. And many of them are not Swedes, but they take a lot of pride in to what the Swedes have brought to our community. I think just day-to-day life, but the other thing I think with that, why Lindsborg works very hard on such festivals as Lucia Festival, which is generally the second weekend of December, which is a very, very beautiful time, and certainly not as large of a festival of this. But from time to time, you will also find us holding community Vesper services in Swedish, and you will also find the Midsummer's Day in June being a very, very special time. And it is a smaller festival than the hyllningsfest, but that's all of the community in the Smoky Valley get together to work very hard in the preservation of our Swedish heritage.
Avenue for cultural education.
Mark Anderson was co-chair for Svensk hyllningsfest 1999, one of many individuals that make a long-term commitment to organize the festival.
We have a committee of 16 people who volunteer 6 years of their time to help plan the festival. We have the requirement that those individuals help us with 3 different festivals. Outside of the members of the committee, we have numerous volunteers in the community who help us. Approximately 120 are involved with volunteering for just the smorgasbord itself. And outside of that, I would say another 400 approximately are required to help with all the different events that you see. So it can be upwards of 500-600 people that help us, all totaled. It's really a community effort, and it's wonderful to see how the community comes together. We began to advertise for artists and musicians at the beginning of the 2-year period prior to the next festival. We also cooperate with various Scandinavian American organizations, other festivals, to try to find talent to bring in here for our arts and crafts tents and for our Saturday night entertainment and entertainment that we see behind us here at the main square. And we really love for Swedish groups to come over.
To this day, there are Swedes coming to Lindsborg to stay permanently. Charlotte Jalkius married the businessman Dean Anderson, owner of Anderson Boutique and Anderson Scandinavian Tours, and left Sweden for Lindsborg. Thomas Engström from Lindsborg's sister city in Sweden also settled in Lindsborg recently. He came there by chance and now has created a new life in Little Sweden, USA, where he produces clogs.
It's interesting to read about everything from when they came over and settled down here, about the people from Sundemo and Munkfors, and sometimes we joke about it and say that some of the Munkfors, the Värmlands people, they was lost.
But the Swedes didn't get lost. They felt like coming home. When sun sets on Sunday, Svensk hyllningsfest is over. Life goes back to normal in Lindsborg, but it also remains very Swedish. And almost immediately plans are being made for the next hyllningsfest, which is 2 years away.